What is the true origin of the letter Z in Dragon Ball Z? And what does this signify? A lot of people have said a lot of things, and a lot of them are wrong. And on this video, I'm going to tell you, as I always do, the undeniable truth. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Emperor Big D for all the updates on the channel, a preview of upcoming content, and much more. It seems like every week in this community, some wannabe know-it-all on some form of social media will put out some poorly researched or just made up bullshit about this series, and that is how misinformation spreads, like the picture you see right here. And unfortunately, people on the internet seem to have a tendency of believing everything they read. This person says Dragon Ball Z was meant to be called Dragon Ball 2, but the editor wrote the number 2 and looked like a Z, and thus it was never changed. That's not entirely true. If you go back to the original manga that was published in Weekly Shonen Jump by Akira Toriyama and Shueisha, the series was just called Dragon Ball. There was no Z. The original manga, all 42 volumes, is just called Dragon Ball. When Toei was adapting Dragon Ball into an anime, there came a time period where they noticed a shift in the tone, as well as a big time skip, as well as a shift in the focus of the direction of the series. Up until this point, Dragon Ball had been all about Goku and his adventures growing up, fighting in the tournaments, getting married, saving the world. However, a new major character, Son Gohan, Goku's first son, would be introduced, and thus the Toei staff felt that they wanted to create a division line between the story. Dragon Ball would end with Goku's marriage, and thus there would be a new anime to take its place. In the same time slot, with the same voice actors, the same composers, the same animation director, essentially a anime sequel to Dragon Ball, however, still being adapted from the original source material, the original Dragon Ball manga. During this time, the production staff was considering several different names for the Dragon Ball Z anime before it was actually called Dragon Ball Z. Some of these names included Dragon Ball Gohan's Big Adventure, okay, New Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Wonder Boy, Dragon Ball 90, because it would start a year before 1990, and yes, folks, Dragon Ball 2. However, this story of the editor or somebody in production writing the number 2 and having it confused for the letter Z is 100% fabricated, made up bullshit. What actually happened, based on an interview Toriyama himself gave in Son Goku Daisetsu, the guidebook, is that the production staff at Toei, before finalizing on a name, decided to consult with Toriyama, and Toriyama chose Dragon Ball Z because Z was the last letter of the alphabet, Dragon Ball Z, and he decided that by calling it Dragon Ball Z, it would signify the series would be coming to a close, because Toriyama at that time was thinking in his head that the series would almost be over. And then, of course, several volumes later and 291 episodes later, the series finally ended, so Toriyama just kept it going. But that's a story for another day. Still, that is the true origin of the Z in Dragon Ball Z. Anything that you read on the internet that says contrary is bullshit. I'll catch you down the road.